It's working. Let's keep the momentum going. This latest tweet just out seconds ago from Congressman Todd Akin, battling Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill in Missouri, clearly in this race to win it and not step away from it, to Mike Huckabee on whether he thinks he can stick the race out and win it. He's down, as you know, Governor, by 10 points in the latest polls. So he's gone from up 5 to down 10.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think it could happen. One of the things that needs to take place is to get away from the comment that he himself repudiated and apologized for. That's the past. It was a dumb remark. He's acknowledged that. But the real issue is not what he said. It's what Claire McCaskill did. She voted for Obamacare. She has supported abortion. It's about what Barack Obama did, not something he said. And believe me, he said plenty of crazy things himself. Barack Obama is one of the few people who voted 3 times against a bill that would say that you had to give medical treatment to a baby that was born as a result of a botched abortion, but it was a living child outside the mother's womb. This is an after-birth abortion. He said, no, you can still take the life of the baby even after abortion. Neil, that's further than Barney Frank and most of the hardcore liberals in the Congress were ever willing to go.
Whatever the case, Governor, it doesn't seem to be helping the congressman right now. A number of people, I know you had the first interview with the congressman when all this blew up. He indicated to you first that he was not leaving the race, so no reason to leave the race. Other conservatives have come out and say, well, for the good of the party, take one for the team. I think that was Sarah Palin's argument. And leave the race. This is a huge distraction. I know you're a big conservative. I know you're a very big right-to-lifer. Do they have a point?
They might. But at this point, here's the deal. You know, it's so easy for people who have never run for office, even those who have, to tell someone else what he ought to do. But you've got to remember that he's put 2 years of his life and that of his family and his supporters into this race
no doubt,
to get
you know
there.
How this goes.
You know, you don't just suddenly one day say one thing and say, oh, I'm going to quit. And I think it was unrealistic that people...
Do you think the party has been unfair to him?
I do. And I've said that very boldly. But what I think the party has an opportunity to do, this can be a teachable moment. It's not that it's unrecoverable. What they need to do is to go in and continue to acknowledge that what he said was wrong. But then acknowledge that the real issue is not a single statement of a person. It is the deed of Barack Obama and Claire McCaskill in relationship, and that's where this race ought to be starting to fold. What is the difference? Not between what
she doesn't want him to drop out.
I'm sure she doesn't.
So
she didn't want him probably to, to drop in. But
well, now there are a lot of folks looking at this race, Governor, and saying that this is a golden opportunity. Whatever your moral views on this, and I know your strong positions on this, but this is a seat that was easily winnable that might be lost, and what could be a Republican Senate might be compromised as a result. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know what the conservative, the socially conservative Republicans think about the way he's being treated.
I think there's great disappointment because there was such a chorus, an orchestrated chorus that went after him very quickly, publicly. You know, take a spy who has to be brought in from the cold, as the old expression. You would go and retrieve him, you'd bring him in, you'd try to figure out how you can best either deal with him, can he be rehabbed, or, do you need to retire him? That wasn't what happened. This was a public humiliation, and I think it created a real conflict.
Well, if you were the party's nominee, you could kind of appreciate the box Mitt Romney's in, right?
I don't have any fight with Mitt Romney. I think Mitt Romney's...
you would stand by him, you're saying?
Well, I might, but I'm not arguing with anyone in the party specifically.
See, what I see, Governor, is the Republican Party is focused, the economy, laser beam the economy, no side issue, no abortion, no this, that, and boom, 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 boom.
Right. It doesn't matter what we want it to be. When that happens, we have to deal with it. But the way to deal with it is not to shoot our own soldier laying on the battlefield. The way to deal with it is to show, folks, let's take a look at the contrast between these two parties and their two positions on life. And even among the Republican Party.
He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that.
Oh, I
Congressman hasn't. It's not being picked up.
Well, but he didn't get to direct the news coverage.
Right.
But I think that's the whole point of this. And this isn't about an offense to him or, who's on what end of the spectrum. The most liberal Republican on the issue of abortion is still more conservative than most of the so-called conservative Democrats are. That's where I think the contrast needs to be drawn.
Real quick.